Warning! This video contains adult content not suitable for children.
What's up? It's a Kokomo Press podcast. I'm Jordan, and as always, I'm joined by...
I'm Jordan.
He's the Jordan. And today we have a special guest.
It's not that special. I'm Kelly.
Very special.
Very
Don't
special.
undersell yourself,
Listen.
No.
You're on the Kokomo Press podcast. You're special.
No, that's special. That's for
special.
sure. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we have had a lot going on, and we're gonna have breakfast with you, and Jordan dropped the ball per usual, and then I dropped it, and I was like, let's just have him on the podcast. We'll hang out and talk. I was like, and then we'll figure some stuff out. Like, that's the easiest way for us too, because we already have that scheduled every week. So like, let's just bring Kelly in here. Let's hang out. Jordan got you coffee?
Yeah.
That's breakfast?
I didn't even know.
You didn't even see that? That's
No,
that's
I didn't
right.
see.
Yeah.
I didn't see.
Jordan's the
That's wonderful.
worst at giving people coffee.
I'm sorry. I sat it down and then we started talking and I was like,
I know.
but yeah, you have coffee.
I just assumed that I was just going to scan the room endlessly for it.
My bad.
He's like,
My bad.
well, I was promised breakfast, so
No, this is
podcast. I'm out.
great. Conversation and coffee is the best breakfast.
Yeah,
I mean,
You know.
I got it from the local coffee addicts place.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I hope it doesn't suck, but, you know.
Yeah, he said black coffee, so he likes coffee that sucks. I'm just kidding.
No, it's just the more bitter, the better. Yeah,
There you go.
That's-
What got you into that? Okay, because like I know people that drink coffee, and then people that drink black coffee. There's always like a story, like why do you drink black coffee?
Okay, so do you remember that I was a lot bigger in high school?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I used to weigh 310 pounds, and it's probably, because of eating like Chinese like every single day, which amazingly, what, like 8 billion Chinese people do every day, and they're not like I was in high school. But, granted, it wasn't laced with MSG. So,
That's it.
it just came from, yes, it's the MSG, but it came from going towards like, just away from the sweet shit.
Get away from calories and shit.
Yeah,
like,
man, because I was putting, cockroaches would have died in my coffee. Like it was that sweet back in the day. And it was something I took after with my mom, and then I realized just like a lot of those creamers are super sweet.
Oh yeah.
So you just add a little bit of creamer, and it's just sweet enough that it doesn't kill it, and like black
Drop
coffee
the
with
sugar.
just
Add the,
creamer.
that's baller.
Yeah.
That's baller. Yeah.
I feel like I'm being judged right now because I like a little bit of coffee with my sugar. I'm just saying.
That's how I used to take my coffee. Just like I used to take my wine with like sugar, mainly sugar, and a little bit of spoiled grape juice.
Yeah.
Now I like like dry wines. Just like I like bitter coffees. I like to pretend like it makes me more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Like I picture myself wearing a velvet smoking jacket every single time I sip coffee that's not sweet.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Mine's a little bit more lowbrow because I used to drink a whole hell of a lot of whiskey with my Red Bull. Now I don't know.
Isn't that kind of the way to have Red Bull?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Or Jaeger.
Or with Jaeger. That's
Yeah.
there it is. The Jaeger bombs.
I don't know.
Right?
I'm more of a whiskey guy. That fucking deer blood. I don't know. About
Yeah.
that shit.
I love whiskey. That's what I drink too. When I'm choosing an alcoholic beverage, it's usually like Jack or like Crown. Crown is my favorite. But a Jaeger bomb is always good too. I'll take that.
Yeah, for me, like
I don't love them. I don't know.
I'm a weird guy when it comes to alcohol because I think it all tastes like shit.
Oh, it does.
So,
It all tastes like
Yeah.
shit.
So like whatever, it doesn't matter to me so long as it like the desired effect is being drunk. But if I have to pick something like I'm gonna sip on and enjoy, I'm weird. Pickle juice and Jameson's.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Pickleback
As a cocktail.
Yeah.
No, that's usually like as a shot, right?
Yeah.
I have mine as
People
a
drink
cocktail
it,
over
yeah.
ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
That's
a buddy.
probably the better way to do it, honestly.
I picked it up. I was in a bar in Chicago one time.
No, I could probably. I hate I don't love doing it as a shot. I don't love taking shots anyways. Just because one, I'm a pussy when I drink. Like I know, like if I'm gonna take shots, I know I'm gonna throw up. 'Cause, there's these things happen. But like,
Or you can learn how to drink like an adult.
No.
Slowly.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's part of the game.
Have y'all met me? If I'm gonna do something, I'm just gonna do it. I apply this
That's
to
how you
all
get shit
things
done.
in life. But like, as a cocktail, I could probably fuck with it a whole lot better.
No, and I do. Like, well, and see, and then it's no different than taking the shot because I suck that sucker down in like a couple of minutes, and I'm like, yeah, another one. And I'm a lightweight anyways because I'm more of a smoker. So,
Yeah. Smoker as in like cigarettes?
But it's cigarettes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't do
yeah.
cigarettes.
Oh,
Someone when I don't do.
Yeah.
I like breathe and smoke like a dragon, and to do that
Blow it out your
24
nose.
hours. Yeah, like to do
Yeah.
that 24 hours from with like marijuana is way too expensive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That makes sense.
Plus, I feel like your brain is always going, and you're like you have so many fucking projects that you're on, so many things that you're doing. Us as smokers of any sort, no judgment, except for crack. Don't do crack or meth. But
right.
besides the point. But us as smokers, our brain is constantly going. We kind of need that thing to kind of
It's like
yeah,
for sure. Part of working on so much at a time, you have to be very meticulous about your workspace, and there's the 5-second rule, like having things within 5 seconds of reach and 15 seconds of reach. So like all of my distractions I have 15 seconds away from me, whereas work is just right at hand. But like creating that atmosphere where like I'm thinking, having a pipe with tobacco in it does it for me. Like a pack of cigarettes lasts me like 2.5 days because I tear them apart and throw them in a pipe and fucking smoke it like I'm wearing a velvet smoking jacket, which I really need to get one of those just so I can just actually have it.
Just don't try to. If you do it, don't look like Willy Wonka. Get a good one. I'll get a purple one.
Well, I think like the pink bunny slippers.
I
like that's what I want, like the velvet, like the purple, deep purple.
I feel like that you start to look like Willy Wonka real quick with that.
Yeah, it's alright. I picked up a purple jacket.
Yeah,
it's got a flame, yo.
I have a purple paisley like blazer, and it has like gold threading. And it's really baller, and a lot of people hate it. It's also really big on me. It's also really, really big on me, but it's very ostentatious.
Like it.
So as a creative type, this is something I'm always talking to Jordan and Brian about with creative people is there's a couple different types of creatives. It sounds like what you're saying with your system of like 5 seconds versus 15 seconds is that you get distracted easily, and then the way you discipline yourself is you make it harder to get distracted. Right. Whereas I'm the one that's always in the group that's forcing these guys to get on tasks because they're like super like. Jordan's like the ideas guy. He's like, I got all these awesome ideas. Boom, 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 idea. And then Brian comes with great premises, and then like has like, I don't know how we get to this, but we got to get to here. Right. And then they're like looking at me like, all right, let's get it done. And I'm always like, okay, I got to figure out how to.
You're the gap guy.
I'm the gap guy. I have to fill everything in to get us there. I have to tear the ideas and the half of the ending, and I have to find a way to get there with these guys.
Right. Well, like for me, and that's part of the fun of the challenge is being creative to meet an end goal. Yeah. Like for the company that I'm doing with Fourth Wall Players.
Yeah, it comes out. It's on YouTube on Fourth Wall Players. Check it out. It's so far it's like a mini series, right?
Yeah. And we're having episodes every 2 weeks. Right now, we're trying to build it into a longer format because of the set that we have available to us. Is amazing. Yeah. So,
you guys are running out of the Inventrek. Inventrek.
The old. It's still the Inventrek building. Okay. Everyone still calls it the Inventrek, even the people that work there. Yeah. But we're filming it out of the Inventrek building. We use like the shared drive area, which is supposed to just be like, open sort of to the public. That's a vague description of their rules there. Yeah. But we have...
They're going to be overrun with homeless people now.
I'm just kidding. No, maybe so.
I'm just kidding.
They need sleep too, I'm just saying.
We need faces to be creative too.
This is too...
But we're we want to make it into like a longer thing. I'm working with a sort of like the idea of a season cap that obviously it's like our homage to The Office, right?
You can see it.
Yeah, but like merged with serial entrepreneurs. So instead of paper salesmen, they're like, we don't fucking know what the hell we're doing. Let's try some things. Everyone has an online store now, or everyone has a podcast. I have a podcast. We have a podcast. We're all in a podcast. Your whole life is a podcast.
What's a podcast?
Yeah, exactly. And that's how this episode starts. So we're trying to like. It comes from a couple different places, both The Office and my love for this channel, another channel on YouTube called CoffeeZilla, and he like exposes scammers and like this whole fake it till you make it lifestyle, where most people that are like fake gurus are just like selling courses, but they claim to be the mastermind of like real estate or cryptocurrency or whatever it is. So we're trying to sort of poke fun at that along the way by picking out specific things like, we're going to have an episode about merchandising. We're going to have one about crypto. We're going to have one about OnlyFans.
So keeping your options open. Like basically we as making it like vague, that company, keeping it vague enough that you can, explore, put your hat in.
Do whatever you want. Yeah. And that was, the design for the series as far as character motivation. That's why Kelly's character created the company. It's because it could be anything. It could be whatever the hell you want it to be, and he wants it to be a million different things and has no idea how to get it to there.
And every week comes in with a new idea. This is how we can make money, and he has to fight the other 3 or 2, depending on who's.
Or rally them to the cause, because they're all sort of aimless. And so the goal is to turn it into something longer form episodes, so that it's so that you can sit and watch it for more than 3 or 4 minutes at a time.
I actually really enjoyed the first one was Exposition that we talked about already. I understand that as a writer, I know it's like you have to set the scene for the next episodes. Well, it's rough to do that, and you have to introduce the characters and still try to have a story at the end. It wasn't bad, but the second one and the third one I think were really good. And I also think like you having the shorter format makes them really good. It gives you a concise amount of time, and you can give just enough information that you're not like, oh shit, we're going somewhere we don't need to go. Yeah. So I think honestly they're doing really well.
Right. Right now there's not a bunch of, as I say, filler. You know what I mean? Like we get right to the punchline. We set up the joke situationally, right to the punchline, credits.
Oh yeah. Which is I really like that. I like that point. I mean, I was literally talking to Jordan. I think I talked to Jordan, maybe even Brian, about like, hey, maybe we should do something like a short. I mean, not the same, but a short version of what we're like. We have the TV show we're doing, but it takes forever. A half an hour of a TV show takes forever to film. Yeah. Multiple locations, multiple different people. You got to make sure that when you're filming that you don't have. We've lost 2 entire days of filming because of random malfunctions. Just because it's the first time we've ever done this. Audio malfunctions for one of the times, and then one of the times, a complete overlook of background noise. We had no idea. Like we had a band playing in the background, and we're just shooting scenes, not realizing the song's going to be different from this scene to this scene, and it was just like. We completely blew our shot there. We had an idea, and we wasted a lot of time before the band's even set up. We could have shot during earlier, and it was just a huge learning experience. But we have less than half the episode still left to shoot. Yeah. And with the weather, I don't even know how we're gonna finish it. So it's like the pilot's so hard to do. Pilots are rough.
Yeah. Pilots are rough. I've written quite a few pilots, and with the reason why the company staying short works well. I have experience with this short episode format on Hohenheim Productions. We did The Bull and the Black Dude, which was sketch comedy.
By the way,
do you
love those?
Oh man, share them, man. I still kind of love them too. With The Bull and the Black Dude, for those of you who don't know, is improvised sketch comedy. There was no script. We just did it. We rehearsed it until we liked it. Then I set up the cameras, angles, and we filmed it. It's making fun of fuckboys and fuckboy tactics. And I think we had 11 episodes. I had released the Lost episode, which was our homage to that 70s show style smoking scene with the rotating camera. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. But yeah, what was the question?
No, I'm saying you said we wanted to go make the episodes a little bit longer. In my opinion, I think that you guys have found the way you guys are doing it, and obviously you'll be able to figure it out as well. Yeah. But I really enjoy the way you're doing it now with kind of this. The speed of it is good because the tempo you've kept the tempo of the second and third episode are perfect. Honestly, I feel like you nailed it. You nailed me when I saw the first episode. This is what I expected from the first episode, but it's Exposition. I understand it. Yeah. So it's not a knock at that. Right. But the second 2 episodes are so good that I'm I think you found the tempo.
Well, I appreciate that because the first episode is the only one that had literally no script whatsoever. Okay. No script. There was no script. So you're proving. You hear this? You listen to this, Jordan? Yeah. About scripts? Jordan and Brian, I'm always saying, we need to, let's write it out. Because it's different. It's different. Right. Well, I mean, and that's honestly, that's where The Bull and the Black Dude suffers because there's plenty of times where you can tell that we're laughing at our own jokes or because I didn't have a director, I'm just directing myself and him, you know, I'm an awful judge of character on how well I did.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm just like, I don't fucking know. Like, let's just move on. Like, fuck this dude. You know, because sorry, I'm like that with myself. Like with everyone else, I'm like, yeah, that's beautiful. Let's do it. You know, I've got all sorts of feedback. With this dude, I'm like, fuck it.
Oh no, I completely get that part because anytime I do something, I'm like, man, maybe I could do this a little bit different. I could change that, and I have to change. I have to stop myself. He thinks I'm crazy because I had this whole Kanye like vision of you can change shit, right? Like
no, you totally can though. You can. Yeah, like
well, until you put it out, but that was where that was.
No, you can put it out and change it. It doesn't matter.
Wait, didn't Kanye do that? He like pulled the whole fucking album back, right?
Well,
Like,
he did more than that. He changed entire songs and made them. My thing is like
and
you're
he had to make some
collaborating.
songs.
He's like, no, you can actually do that.
Like wait until the future when people are collaborating with you and they do a whole thing and then you get replaced digitally by another person. I guarantee you're gonna hate that art. And that's what he did to like Casey. That's what I'm saying. Like that song "Keep My Spirit Alive" by Kanye. I love Casey's voice in that. Now Kanye has replaced Casey and put his own voice on there with autotune, and it doesn't sound as good. He's ruined. Like to me, I love that song, and I mean it's a super religious written song, and I don't listen to it like that. I just love the melody of it and the way it sounds. But it's like he went from having this guy that had a really unique, cool voice to just Kanye, and I'm like, Kanye, you're cool. Like I like what you do, but you're one of the greatest collaborative artists of all time. And now you're taking away the collaborative part.
He's recently changed his name, like permanently, right?
Yeah, he's now.
Yeah. Okay.
And he shaved off his eyebrows, so.
And
you don't need eyebrows.
Isn't he getting divorced?
You don't need eyebrows.
She never sent the paperwork. He said. I mean, she's out here fucking Pete Davidson apparently, but yeah, that was crazy.
She's fucking Pete Davidson. He walks around in masks all day. So I mean, it's
rich people are bored, man.
A lot of motherfuckers need jobs out there, bro.
Even rich people that have money need jobs.
Good
job.
Oh man, God.
Yeah. I'm excited. You said you're gonna do every 2 weeks with the company. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, like we just said, check that out. It's on YouTube under the Fourth Wall Players, and it's been on. I mean, we've actually shared it to the page. I shared the first episode to the page, and I don't think I shared the other two yet. But I did share the first one because it popped up, and I was like, "Here's some." And then we didn't get any traction because people in Kokomo they don't give any love to their own people. It's annoying.
Well, part of it.
You know what? It's okay. Just shove it down their throats.
I will.
Like this is what we gotta do.
I mean, that's part of it. Like, if you take a look at my personal page, in the past couple of years, if you go back, it's, a lot of hoe shit. But, within the past, 2 years...
All of us.
No, right.
Guilty.
But within the past 2 years, it's, all work, and it's just shoving shit. And part of, you can't blame Facebook users. It's really not their fault. It's honestly the algorithm. Because anything that's an external link gets shoved down into the 1% of the algorithm anyways.
I learned really quickly.
You have to get smarter about how you do these things. And people don't love when you tag other people, but that's how it's part of the game. You have to tag people, especially if you have links to other shit because
otherwise it won't get seen.
No.
We need a production assistant for this podcast because I really wanted Courtney to do it, and you even tagged her and told her to do it, but we needed somebody to go through and watch the podcast video and take, say, from 8:50 to 12:40, take that chunk, and then when we can post that chunk to Facebook and then link it to the YouTube, because if you want to watch the video of the podcast, we want you to go to YouTube to watch it.
Yeah,
because
right.
I want an aggregate. I can see the numbers there. On Facebook, the numbers are a lie because they have views where it's like people are clicking clicking up and they see it and then they're like, ugh,
and they scroll past.
That don't matter. I don't want that number. An impression. It's stupid. So a lot of what they do, and we get as a guy who's built up. I mean, the Kokomo Press would be, once we hit 10K, will be the third page in the last 5-6 years that I've gotten over 10K.
Nice.
We have over 10K followers, but I need the likes. I want the likes too.
Yeah.
But it's like, as somebody who I would say, based on that, I know a little bit about how it works with the Facebook thing. They keep making it fucking harder.
Oh yeah,
it's larger.
Yeah, they're constantly updating the algorithm, and then not only that, but now it going to Meta and trying to incorporate. They're doing more with the algorithm to try to incorporate what's going on Instagram into the Facebook feeds because Reels have become bigger and better than Facebook Stories and all this other crap.
Because they want to capitalize on TikTok.
They're just stealing from TikTok.
Yeah.
But then, well, it's like Facebook steals from everybody. They stole from Kik. They made WhatsApp. They stole. I mean, it basically went and bought Instagram and then decided, hey, we're going to do exactly what TikTok's doing. And I mean, even Snapchat. They stole Snapchat.
But did Facebook? Are you sure that Facebook made WhatsApp? Because I remember WhatsApp being around the same time of Kick.
They might have bought it.
Was like, I was going to say, I think
they might have bought it. But I mean, they've
incorporated it into. Yeah,
even if you go on like any of those Kick things, WhatsApp, they have like stories and like little things now too, like that you can go in. I'm pretty sure. Last time I looked, I don't use it. I
don't use Kick or WhatsApp or anything.
But the last time I used Kick, they had like live things now. They have lives.
Yeah.
Live battles.
I think Snapchat started ripping off TikTok too, which I mean, you could argue that TikTok ripped off Snapchat first because Snapchat was doing all this story shit, and then basically TikTok is just a version of that where it's the same thing.
You can do more edits
and it's random.
You can do more actual video.
Oh yeah, they gave the user more tools on there, but I guess Snapchat has this thing called Spotlight. I don't know if you guys have ever clicked over too far and you're like, what the fuck is this? It's just people doing TikToks basically. You just click up and down. But the great thing about Snapchat is if you get one of those to pop and get a certain amount of you can get they send you a check, they give you money. Wow. And I watched the video the other day about apparently if you can go viral, like TikTok you get money but you have to build a profile.
Yeah.
Snapchat doesn't make you. They don't have profiles that they build. They just post different people's things, and if it blows up and people watch it and they share it, they give you money for it. So I was like, it's more worth it to go there and fuck around. Let them bleed the money.
I don't want to have to reinstall Snapchat.
I know, me neither. I don't want to have to reinstall
and you're like, oh
Snapchat.
shit, dick pic. I got all my pictures are just dick pics.
Yeah.
I still use Snap, but that's because there's a few people I talk to on there. It's not like anything crazy. I got a girlfriend, so I'm not sending dick pics or anything. But it's like there's a few people that's who I interact with them there.
Yeah, I know that there's that sweet spot of generation that are pretty much on Snapchat, and they're like, nah, I don't really Facebook. I just Snapchat now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I have stalker ex-girlfriends that will try to find me if I download Snapchat. So rather than having Snapchat and having like the locator thing, I'll just stay low key. And
why don't they just go to YouTube? You got a YouTube channel. I'll bother you there.
Okay, but this was the.
I'm giving them ideas.
No. I'm just saying this is where we get into dangerous territory because as soon as I talk about it, then it's like, oh no, with this particular ex. She didn't ever watch any of my shit on YouTube. That was part of the problem. I'm working 24/7, and it's like, what hoes are you talking to? Like nobody.
I'm just working.
I've literally been editing for 14 hours straight.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
So not worried about that. No, not worried about that. Like they know where to locate me. It's more about finding me in public.
Oh yeah.
See.
That's fun.
Yeah, no, it's
just go to the skating rink,
fun.
Baby. I've seen your videos in the skating rink, man.
Yeah, she stopped going there. Thankfully,
okay.
I think it's because it's too much seeing me with the long hair. That's what it is. I'm gonna go with that, or maybe it's that.
Well, whoever you are out there, message me. I'll tell you where he's at. I got him on track.
I'm just kidding. She knows where I'm at.
He's like, she knows where I am. She followed me here.
Yeah, she knows.
Her car will circle around the block.
Oh, is that her?
There's that van.
Oh,
the black van.
There she
is. It's all over.
I will kill you. I will fucking kill you. All right,
I've received that message.
I still have. She's like, oh, I want the long hair. I want to cut it all off and braid it. Fashion it into a little
next boudoir shoot.
Yeah. I was excited. Okay, so you're doing the company. Let's give a shout out to Josh Gibson's. He does Fourth Wall Players. He's one of the actors in it.
Yep. And
Michelle,
the show.
Yes.
Michelle, who we know, she's in the show. She's worked with us multiple times. She's a wonderful actress.
Yeah.
Great person. Probably one of the greatest singers I know too. She's a great singer. She's got some fucking pipes.
I've heard that.
Anna Ely. And Anna Ely's a great. I've known Anna. I actually met Anna through choir in high school.
Right.
And then we did a production of A Christmas Cabaret with the Kokomo Civic Theater, and she was one of the dancers in the show. Nice. And I was like, it was her and another girl. I know her brother. I can't remember her name, but they were awesome. We all kind of hung out around that time, and then I kind of got a girlfriend and just. You know how you back away? Back away from people in high school, especially.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I gotta go get booed up and cuddled up. It's
Can't talk to you.
The universe doesn't allow it.
Yeah.
Too much going on.
That Christmas Cabaret thing was fun, but Anna's very talented. Michelle's very talented. Josh, you're talented.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I knew something good was going to come from that as soon as I saw the cast. There's another guy whose name was on there I have yet to see in the cast yet.
Zach. He's in episode 1.
Was he? Okay.
Andy's in episode 4.
Cool.
He plays the maintenance man. He's helped out on a lot of productions with Fourth Wall Players over the years. So
I don't know him. That's the one I don't know.
Yeah, he's mainly a stage actor.
Yeah. Cool.
So he kind of just helps me out behind the camera a little bit when I'm in front of the camera.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, he's also playing the maintenance man, which we're kind of like developing a story arc for him too, and everything. It'll be a lot of fun to explore.
Are you guys gonna cast Michelle's girlfriend? I want to see it.
No, we're not. That was literally like just a joke played for laughs.
Bro, but that was so funny. Dude. I think there's a lot. I think you could squeeze more juice out of that.
Well, we have an episode coming up about office relationships, office romances. We also have a relationship coming up about OnlyFans.
Oh yeah, that one's gonna be fun.
That one's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about that one.
Yeah.
And
do you have any consultants? Because I know a guy.
No, so I know a guy too. I know a guy too. Yeah. No. Well, it's public information. I'm a sex addict, so I know about OnlyFans. I had plenty of information when going into the episode.
Yeah.
But my character in the episode does not.
Okay.
So. Michelle is incredibly talented. I hadn't worked with her before. Oh, yeah. I just crushed on her in high school like everybody else. Yeah. And so I was blown away by her performances that day. Like she's amazing.
She can do anything, and she makes your scenes better just by being in them.
Yeah. She really does.
We've talked about it before because like anytime we have like we need a woman for a skit, I'm like, let's just call Michelle because we did a scene. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to cut it off, but we did a scene for the show where it's she and I, and it was one of the first major scenes we shot. And it's a custody exchange between she's my ex-wife in the show, and I didn't want her to play my love interest because it's just weird, and she's one of the few girls now. And I have the second episode shot so well for her, and Jordan and Brian and her get to have this amazing interaction with her. It's great. I'll tell you off air. I don't want to give away anything because the second episode to me is the most fun episode of it. It's the most fun thing I've ever written in my life, and I can't wait to shoot it. Right. But like with her, I did that first scene with her, and I fucking learned. I like to consider myself a really good actor. In my head, I'm like, I'm a good actor. Anytime I've done things, I do a good job. I sell what I do, and I've gotten lots of views off of just viral videos, random shit that I've done locally. So I'm like, I'm a good actor, and then I get in the fucking scene with her, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I gotta step the fuck up because she's so talented. Yeah, she makes you better and makes you have to be better. So it's like,
and it's supernatural.
I'm a huge fan of everything she does. When I saw her in it, I was like, I'm gonna watch this immediately because I see her in it. Your name's on there, Anna's on there. I see Josh. I know all you guys, so I'm like, I'm gonna watch it anyway. But when I saw her, I'm like, dude, she's gonna kill this. I already know.
Yeah, and she did too. Like the in episode 1, like her monologue is one of the best parts about episode 1. It was like, oh great, I was like, I'm waiting for the drug business to pick up. It's gonna be a minute.
And you said that was completely like you guys didn't write that.
Was all because
that was legit.
Their only instruction for the monologue, for the pilot was, we're all playing exaggerated, quirky versions of ourselves. Yeah. So, like...
To 11. Yeah. This is a theme with us on the show, man. Anytime you have a character, just do yourself to 11.
Yeah, exactly.
I went to a seminar yesterday, and basically, the instructor, that's his thing. He says, when he does his promos and talks and things, like, it's him, but it's him up. So,
right.
That's how you gotta be.
Yeah, and so like when we did that part, it was a great like she nailed it. Like when I first sent her the scripts for it, I think before I'd even mentioned that it was like an homage to The Office, she was like, "Oh, this is great! Like I want to play a sluttier version of Meredith from The Office." And I was like, "Perfect." And so
boozy, druggy,
so we just we definitely changed like some things about it. Like my character's supposed to be like the idea man that's actually still oblivious to like the whole rest of the world, completely naive to how business works and everything else. He just thinks he knows how to be a boss, and to him that just means
glass half full no matter what.
To him the job is showing up and wearing a good suit and being like encouraging, and that's not the fucking job at all.
Trying to be successful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just appearing successful by going into work.
mean, I don't know. I see a lot of people doing that every day.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, and Josh, Josh and Anna, I've worked with them for years and years. So, with Anna and Josh, it both started out on the stage, Kokomo High School, or even before that, like Central Middle School and shit. And then, so I already knew that they were talented.
Oh, yeah.
And especially Anna, she played one of my favorite roles in a movie that me and Josh did 5 years ago called The Here and Now, which we had shot in Chicago, and was available on Amazon Prime. And we've decided to find other ways to monetize it because Amazon Prime sucks. Yeah. But yeah,
Heard here first. I'm just kidding.
No, it's
we know with a couple of things that we've done production wise, we've heard it. Yeah, it's hard to work with them.
It is.
That you can get in quick, but you can't. It's getting paid and getting taken care of is the hardest part.
Is the hardest part. Yeah, for sure. And which is weird because I'd worked with Amazon before in their creative studio, taking photographs and doing and like a stylist format, but and they paid well then. Yeah. But when it comes to working with their video department, man, that's tough. But yeah, it's a very talented cast. And even Zach is very talented. We've just got to basically write him.
Well, it was interesting to find out what you said about he's helping behind the camera because you're in a lot of the scenes. You're one of the main characters in the show. There's 4 of you that I've seen so far. I mean, other than Zach is in there, but you have to have somebody that can. And the fact that he's able to do what he needs to. You're not doing stationary. Is he moving?
When we have camera movement, that's me. Yeah. But
he's learning. Is he helping? Is he learning? Or do you have anybody helping you?
I haven't pressing the red button.
Yeah.
I haven't pressing the red button.
All right, sorry, Zach. I was trying to give you a shout out here.
But he helps me in a gaffer position for sure. It helps move the lights around. Things would go a lot tougher without him. That's for damn sure. Because then I'd be running around set trying to dodge
in
lights and everything. Yes, exactly.
Which is the worst thing.
Which is the worst
when you're
thing.
directing and wearing a suit.
I'll tell like Christopher Nolan.
He's wearing a suit directing, but he doesn't be in front of the camera.
No, he doesn't. Yeah,
so he's lucky that he can go, okay, I'm going to go behind here, action, and he's got people that do shit for him.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, definitely.
He don't fucking do shit. I'm just kidding. He does shit.
He just tells others do shit.
The directors don't
I don't fucking do shit, man. We don't do shit. No, with Matt, man, the crazy thing about Matt is he's directing our first episode, and everything's brand new. He get all the equipment. He's doing it all, and he's got some experience doing a lot of stuff because they shot an entire movie for Dwarf as well. But it was it wasn't to the standard that we're trying to have with the show, look wise and quality wise. But they shot that, and I mean it's a narrative. They had to have an entire. I mean, you're talking about a 45-minute, an hour long movie. You have to be able to transition. You have to know where you're going. You have to. So the story was there. But with the episode, it's been such a learning experience. How much goes into it, how many things we have to do. Jordan is a huge help with that. I mean, he's Mr. Okay, I'll do it. As far as nobody.
This is how you learn, bro.
Nobody can.
It is how you learn.
Nobody can handle the mic like this man right here.
Yeah, I got the boom on lock, bro.
He's just
just all day.
He's the best. Honestly, he might be the best boom operator I've ever seen.
Nice.
But he knows his shit. Him and Jesse Davis, but he helped us out too. But we always
Jesse might be better at holding it than me.
He's got a little more. I think he might have a little bit more experience too because he records and stuff. And
that nigga's already tall.
Oh, he's tall as
shit.
Fuck. Tall motherfuckers are the best people to run the boom mic.
Yeah.
Do you guys boom or what do you guys do?
I have a boom operator named Margot, which is just a microphone stand.
Yeah, sounds about right.
That has been with me for 8 years, and she's a beast. She's all taped up and everything. Well, it's because when I very first got into film and everything else, it was just in a writing capacity. I was I'm gonna write scripts, that's what I want to do. I've always wanted to be a writer, and then you realize that if you want to get some shit made, you need money, and not being able to pay people who needed money to do it, I was well, fuck it, man. I'll do it myself. I was one of the few people I knew that when I was 13 asked for a fucking camcorder for Christmas because I wanted to film jackass stunts. I'd been using cameras, I've been using cameras for a long time, and it was like, all right, time to like actually learn. So for
me, it was to film backyard wrestling.
And see, and at the time when I had a camcorder, that would not have been like out of my wheelhouse at all. I think me and Jerry actually did some backyard wrestling with like Jay Hall and
that's how I met you, was through Jerry, because we lived close to each other, because Meridian Park was really it.
I see, and this is what's funny is that I remember things that you don't.
Probably.
My cousin George was best friends with Caleb.
George who?
George Boyer.
He's best friends with Nathaniel, or with Jacob, my brother Jacob too. They were really close.
Yeah, and so
Caleb. Caleb. You're talking about Jacob, probably.
Jacob.
Okay,
I'm thinking of.
That's
Jacob.
what I was thinking. Yeah, they were best friends.
Thinking of Jacob.
Right. Okay,
yes,
so
Jacob.
It's like, who's Caleb? Yeah, Jacob and George were really close.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so when you guys were over on Vale Street, right? Like when I was basically looking after my cousin to keep him out of jail. You know what you do, George. Yeah. So, like, when I was basically hanging out with him to keep him out of jail, like, I was over on Vale Street all the time, and, like, so I knew you through
George
them,
and Jacob.
But,
To me, I'm terrible. I remember, when I first remember, like, knowing you, I remember it from Jerry, because we would go to, he lived on Bell. Yeah, and Purdham's here, Bell's here. And so I would go down there to Meridian Park, and Jerry, we have to play football, basketball, whatever. And I remember meeting you through there. But I did know George. I did not like George very much, because he was a bad influence on my little brother Jacob.
George is a bad influence on everybody. But finally, he's really cleaned up his act.
I'm happy to hear that. I haven't seen him for years, man.
He's a father now. And
he's a little bulldog.
He takes that shit very seriously.
Good.
He's
I like
great.
to hear that.
He's all over.
He was a fun guy. Like, as we got older, I liked him more.
Yeah.
But when he was younger, he was just.
He fucking knows it. Oh, he knows it. He knows it. He talks shit to everybody. I mean, he got this. My cousin got in fist fights with his damn father. You know what I mean? Like on a regular basis.
Yeah, you talk shit on the internet.
Just a Wednesday. Yeah.
Talking shit on the internet, you're not in their face.
Yeah. Any coward can do that, George.
Got him.
Yeah. Still talk shit to people's face.
Yeah, me too.
That's true. Yeah, our page is basically beef central half the time. So I'm always trying to hold my entire group back. Like, please don't be beef central. And the entire time they're just like, nah, we're all frank in here. We're Oscar Mayer. That's how much beef we're got. We're all beef. Like, it's over and over and over again. So, yeah, but I really like what you said about the first episode and having, like, kind of like, hey, this is who you are as a character. Because that's really free and it's fun to do. But I think when your writing is what the show needed. And I really enjoy what you've done with it. The second, I haven't seen the fourth one yet because it hasn't hit yet. But the second two episodes, I was like, dude, these are written perfectly. So I'm really happy with what you're doing. I love seeing local. That's what we just talk. We love local creatives. That's all we care about. We want to work with people who are creative. Right. We're here. I mean, we have a platform. Our platform, our podcast is growing. It's it's taken a minute, but we've grown pretty good. But not just the podcast. The page that we have is a platform that we built locally.
I think it's beyond that. I think we are growing just as a whole.
Yeah.
The page is growing.
But the platform is what I'm talking about as far as getting creative people. Come, if you're creative, this is to you as well. But it's the same with Scrap.
Yeah.
If you're creative and you have an idea, we are willing to help. Just let us know what we need to do. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, because we are all about networking creatives, because that's what we do. That's what we fucking care about. This guy is a wrestling manager who's been killing videos and he's doing a great job. He's learning all from scratch. Like, he's from the ground floor up. He's doing all this stuff.
All of you guys were like drama kids or like theater kids. It was
barely,
choir kids, musicians.
It was music for me.
I didn't do any of that shit growing up. None of that shit, and that's no fault to anyone.
No.
But like, I didn't figure out like, hey, I can actually do some of this shit until like a little bit ago. Yeah. Like,
it's so weird how because like we went from talking we were friends on Facebook. We would see each other. I don't smoke. We already covered that. I don't smoke, but this guy smokes. I would go out to the smoke shack with friends and hang out, and then it got to the point where he and I would have these awesome conversations outside. I was like, this guy's cool. I really like this guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, he has a great name. And we would just sit and talk and talk. And then when I started doing stuff with the page, he would I would bounce ideas off of him, and he was so great with that. And then it came to the point where we were talking, and then he helped us with the protest downtown when we went and covered it. And then I was like, I'm gonna add this guy to the page because I can tell that this guy's got great ideas. He's so helpful. I like having people around me that are creative, and I add him to the page. And this dude he's transcended anything that I've ever done. He's doing shit that's like I'm not even a part of it. I'm like, this guy's amazing, and I'm like happy for that's the shit that makes me more happy than anything is when I'm around people that basically like will take the ball and run. I love that, dude. Just run the fucking damn ball.
Yeah,
Colts,
you just gotta fucking do it.
Yeah, I love it, dude. The wrestling thing, like, that's all him, dude. He's been killing it with that. He went out and fucking said, I'm going to do this shit, and he's been killing it. He's been networking, and the people he meets and the things he's been doing, it's been like...
Yeah, I told him the videos are great.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Working.
I love
working, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Marvelous Mr. Bell, right?
Yes, sir.
The curator of chaos.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. It's a fun character. I really
Soon
like
to be
it.
the curator of culture and all things great.
Yeah.
Because...
He's got to do it now. When's your guys' next show? Is it next weekend?
It's next weekend.
Boom.
Yep. Big old tornado tag match.
Oh.
Yep. Me and my man Street take on that stupid clown.
Yeah.
And some lame kid.
Yeah, some lame kid and a clown.
Yeah.
So how did he get another contract? Did he get it?
I mean, I don't know, man. The whole company is a crazy place.
Yeah.
Like, one day maybe we can have like that Shane guy on because he gave me a job and then like he kind of took my job away. But
we're gonna have him on soon.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what goes on there. I'm supposed to be the commissioner, but it's all chaos. Which actually, I guess maybe I caused that. So I'm doing great. Yeah,
you're doing good.
That's the point.
It's all you. Anytime things go wrong, it's also you.
Yes.
Because it's on the. It's all
but it's good. But it's good. Chaos is good. Yeah.
It's the Heath Ledger. It's all part of the plan.
Yes.
And the nails and stuff. Yeah. It's pretty baller. So you got anything else going on that you're working on?
Man, I mean,
yes.
I mean, we covered before the part. I kind of always have things that I'm working on, but but really, like, I'm just really excited about the company.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep that going, writing more episodes.
Yeah, I think, like I said, what you're doing so far, and then keep that going. I do want you were on a fucking pretty big TV show. I do want to talk about that because that's that whole process and how you got on the show Utopia, which is like it's on Prime, and like you said, we worked with Amazon before. What happened with that? That whole thing is wild.
Yeah, well, so the pretty much like anytime I get involved with a larger project. Like that, it's usually in Chicago.
Yeah. And
it's usually through 4-star casting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I've been part of big projects before that weren't Hollywood budget projects, where I was director of photography or I played, like, a small role. But in regards to, like, Utopia, being that it's up in Chicago, I like to take roles up there when I can stay up there for a prolonged period of time.
Yeah.
So for Utopia, they were specifically looking for people who were attending a convention because they needed to create this convention like scene all for episode 1.
Yeah.
So we were up there for a whole week. As being like about 85 different extras.
Yeah.
But based on like, looks and everything else, because, I'm with 4-star casting, I'm in this large database, and it kind of, as you develop relationships with the people who do the casting and everything else, they call on you more and more.
Yeah.
Just because they know what you're doing, and
they can trust that you're going to do what they need.
That you're there and you take what you're doing seriously.
There you go.
And so it was one of those situations with 4-star casting with Utopia, and they cast me as the cookie scientist, which was literally my character name, the cookie scientist. And they kept track of me all week long until finally on like Friday, last day, they're like, okay, we're going to bring you downstairs. We've got scenes with like Jessica Roth and everything else, and that was super exciting. And that's like the scene that I'm most seen in, but throughout episode 1 I have like 5 different appearances, and they're all just like kind of real quick across the camera,
walking by or whatever, sitting on a chair or whatever.
And then I was also in like episode like 5 and 6, but I'm in a hazmat suit, so you can't identify. I can't even identify me amongst all the other hazmat people.
I did so much that week, I don't even know.
Man. Yeah, like I don't know. I was like, let's see. I had a body cart. Is that me right there? Pause it. Yeah, no, that's not me. No, this is a different shot. Like that one's tough. But anytime I'm involved with, it's on a small basis, no lines kind of thing.
Yeah.
With that one, it was sort of like a featured extra thing because I'm right there in camera.
Yeah.
But
like
a lot of
front and
times,
center, I saw you. Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of times this is like working parts, like Trial of Chicago 7. I was on that. I spent a week on set for that. I was one of the protesters.
It's Netflix, right?
Yeah. And that was a great time on set. Like, it was freezing balls. They had me dressed like it was the summer.
Nice.
Like, I had these wooden sandals on, no socks, and it was literally like 34 degrees outside.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But I never had more fun in my whole life with that week because, like, hanging out with Eddie Redmayne, like, while he's like practicing his lines was fucking epic. Watching somebody work, because I don't know, from working on your shows and just everything, it's a lot of hard work.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but sometimes like when we see movies that like don't fucking matter, okay. You think, oh, they phoned that shit in, like being on a set where where an actor that you admire is not phoning it in, and they're just like fucking committed. He had his jacket off with the rest of us. He wasn't standing off to the side like trying to stay warm. He had his jacket off and he's pacing back and forth, reading, like saying his lines out loud. That was really intense. And it was just a lot of fun. So with those, I get those roles through 4-star casting.
That's baller.
And
that's, I mean, but it's cool. Like, either way, like a lot of people can, you can get in things, but I mean, it's just cool to see. Like I saw you on the screen on those Utopia show, and I think I watched the first episode of that show. I was so lost. That show was so fucking confusing to me. I don't know if maybe I was just, I maybe had taken an edible or something. But I was fucking gone watching it, and I'm like, is this? I was trying to explain to somebody what it was, and I'm like, I think it's about a comic book that predicts the future. I don't know, dude. I was so fucking lost that I was like, I don't know if I can watch this.
It's more of like a conspiracy, a grand conspiracy. Has details hidden about it in a comic book.
Okay, see that I was like so fucking confused about it. I was like, and like people were like, this show's really great. It's like the art direction's great. They're like, you should check it out. And I watched it, and I watched like the first episode, maybe 2 episodes, and I was just like, I'm so confused. I was like, I can't. And I think it might have just been substances that made that happen.
I was shocked. I was excited that I was like, oh yeah, I've got to see what Jessica Rabbit. It's so great. It's so wonderful. And then. Spoiler alert, she dies in the next fucking episode. Oh, they shoot her in the head. She's dead. I was like, what the fuck, man? And here I thought I was like going to get to know you better, like just watching the show.
There was some scene I watched where they were like in a hotel room.
You could say you still lasted longer than she did because you're still in a hazmat suit.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
As far as on-set time, maybe. But story-wise, my character dies like everybody else does at the convention. They kill everybody at the convention.
Yeah, the people with the guns, right? They come and then they go to the hotel room.
Yep.
See, I remember watching it. I just remember being confused as shit. Yeah, they're like trying to stop something from happening. I just remember that. But
they're getting rid of anyone who knows about the comic.
And there's a little girl that's like I say little girl, but she's probably
in the comic and in the show she's grown up. Like in her early 20s, I'd say, something like that.
Yeah, it was wild. The whole situation was wild as fuck. I was like trying to get into it, and I was like, I'm so fucked up. I can't do this. And then I just haven't gone back to it because, like, you know how that is. Yeah. Amazon Prime's not my go-to. I go to like.
No.
I mean, right now HBO Max to me kills it. Like, there's so much good shit.
They do. Yeah. Like, I mean, I've been.
It's your first.
I've been rewatching Ballers. Like, I'm a huge Dwayne the Rock Johnson fan. So I've been rewatching Ballers. And I've added like 16 things to my watch list on HBO Max. I'm like, wow, this is where I'm living for a while.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's like they've got so much great shit, and then like just when you think like, maybe I'm not gonna have anything on here, then they drop like Dune or something. You're like, all right, I guess I'm gonna watch.
Oh my gosh, how amazing was Dune?
I have to watch it.
So it was so good, and I was so surprised because like the first one I wasn't on it, knew it all. Like,
of course not. The one from the 80s.
Yeah,
no, of course not. Of course not. No. I mean, well,
it seemed
no offense to Lynch fans, but it was definitely, it didn't pay homage to the books at all as far as.
And then I just wasn't interested in the characters at the time, and it starts weird, And I mean, but now, like, I was watching, I'm like, all these people are. I was watching it with my girlfriend, and she'd never even heard of it. Like, she went blind, and then like we started watching. I was like, it's a 3 hour. I think it's like 2.5, 3 hour movie.
Right.
And I was like, I hope you're ready because we're gonna be here for a minute watching this movie. And she's like, okay. And we started watching it, and I remember looking over about halfway through. This was her. My girlfriend, she loves movies. She loves TV shows. She watches them, but she's kind of like one of those people that like she'll watch it and she'll still be doing things as she's watching it. So it's like in the back of her head. But watching her like staring at the screen, like what the fuck's gonna happen next? What I could just see it in her eyes. I was like, and then you're watching the show, and then a random actor pops up. You're like, oh, that's another famous person. Oh, there's another. The acting in that, the amount of people
for sure,
bro. Jason Momoa is in that shit. Fucking Thanos was in it. Fucking
just from the trailer, I know there's like so many people in it. But
like this is my issue with the movie is that now that it's out, how long do we have to wait for part 2?
They said next year,
part
right?
3. Yeah, hopefully. Like my prayer is as soon as I finish watching the movie, I was like, please film it like they did Lord of the Rings, where like they just filmed the whole thing, and now they're going to release it one.
Right?
And I fucking hope so. Because
I mean, other than reshoots, obviously this happened, but like I'm pretty sure they did that. And then I mean, I know a lot of one of the big controversies from the movie wasn't even about like the movie, like it wasn't even about what happened in the movie. The big controversy was. How the fuck are you gonna slow roll Zendaya like this? Because we're like the entire like trailer is all about her all the time. You always see her, and you know that what role she's playing because if you've seen the first one or you've read the books. Yeah. But then like when you see the movie, you get maybe like other than like flash forwards or whatever.
She's only in the past like 15 minutes.
10, 15 minutes
the last 15 minutes of the movie. Yeah.
Spoiler alert if you're going to see it for Zendaya, she's there. She's going to be a big part of the second one. But I mean, she killed her role. Like she did what she did, and it was cool. Like Timothy Chalamet was amazing. That whole thing with him, the girl. I can't remember the lady that plays his mom, but she was. I loved her too.
Like women who are believable in a badass role is like wow, that's always like fuck yeah, because anyway, for me, like I can't stand Mila Jovovich or whatever the hell her name is from no the one from Resident Evil.
I know.
Okay, like she ruined those movies for me. She
like
absolutely ruined those movies for me. Well, I was a huge fan of the games, and so the fact that they took all the survival horror out of it for some Matrix action was ridiculous. As soon as you're like karate kicking dogs out of the air, I'm done.
That's the same way I feel about Brie Larson. I don't buy her as a badass, and she's supposed to be the most badass person in the whole universe, or one of the I'm like the casting look wise, but like she just doesn't look. She doesn't feel. It's the feel of it. Right. And I think that's what people were getting. People were like, the anti-hate for her was all like, everybody's like, it's sexism. They hate her because of her politics. And I'm like, maybe some people, but also she just wasn't believable for me.
Yeah, I'm biased.
Honestly, she's really just not that great.
You love her?
An actress.
No, I'm biased. I have a soft spot for her because like she's because she's misunderstood. She does not know how to convey sarcasm.
Oh yeah.
She doesn't. She misses that part of social cue.
Yeah, but as an actress, you think she would like fucking learn how to act, how to convey sarcasm?
When you really like somebody, you like everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you know, I just have like a crush on her. That's all. You know, like I'd date her.
You're like, I wish I had her in a room hidden with her kid.
what
was that movie, The Room? Wasn't she like hidden? You're like I actually have her right now in a room hidden. I watched that movie and I was like, she's a great actress. I was like, I think she's a great actress. I just can't buy her as a badass. Like that's the one thing I can't see her as.
You know, like I think it's one like it's probably like this like old misogynistic deep down thing like knight in shining armor like rushing to her rescue. The whole internet was picking on her because of a interview that she did with one of the Hemsworths. And she wasn't very good at being sarcastic. And so the whole internet gave her shit, and I'm just like, no, it's okay.
Well,
it's
that and then she did that whole like feminist bullshit on stage too. She leans in too hard, and I'm like, I understand like she's about that shit and be about it. I'm cool with it. The problem is she leans in so hard that like she's the antithesis. She's not just pro women. She's almost feels anti-men sometimes, and it's like you can be pro women. I'm okay with pro women.
I think
once you get like and it's time for men to step inside. No, let women step up. Men don't need to step aside. Let them keep doing what they're doing. But women should step up, and we should find space for everybody.
Right.
That's how we all agree. But when you start to say men step down, no man's going to give his spot up. You need to come fucking take it. And there are women now that are taking it.
Which is awesome. Right.
And the opportunities are there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like I have to retrain my brain as to what feminism is because when I think feminism, I immediately think of men hating women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like where it's like just where yes, it's like I'm not pro woman, I'm anti man.
Well, there's a word for it.
And
what do they call it?
that's not what feminism is anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's not what it is anymore.
What's the word they use to describe people that hate men? There's another word for it. Misandry. Misandry is what they're. I'm not a misandrist. I'm a feminist. I'm not a misandrist. But misandry is the word where they're. It's where they say they're a feminist, but really they just hate men.
Right.
And when you catch a misandrist or a misandry vibe, you immediately say, okay, well, this is feminism. But the problem is, feminism can come as this, or like racism can come as somebody trying to help. You know what I mean? Like it's like the soft. Like what there's a quote, and I can't remember the quote was, but it was like maybe it was even Malcolm X that was like the worst racist is the white liberal who's trying to like protect black people but does it in such a like condescending way. Yeah. Isn't there? It's like a Malcolm X quote. I think it's like where he's like the biggest.
I'm just picturing Jordan Peele. Like, being on a soapbox about it. Like, I feel you, bro. Yeah. Like,
Jordan Peele is
fucking right, man.
Yeah, he gets a lot of flack too, just because like you've heard this a million times, but he's married to a white woman, and they're like, and they always it's same with Childish Gambino. They all get that shit because it's like, how can you be so pro black if you don't like our women, and it's like,
which is so stupid. Yeah. Which is so fucking.
As a man who, I don't think it's any secret, right? You love black women.
Yeah, I definitely have a history with black women.
You love black women.
Definitely have a history with them, and
it's not a secret.
It's just so stupid because it's like preferences, like. Yeah. Who you vibe with has nothing to do with like political affiliation. No. Has nothing. Like, I mean, that's just ridiculous. Even
race, anything, creed, like religion. I mean, there's people who are Jewish that vibe with Catholics,
right?
Atheists, you know.
I left politics because I realized that it was doing more to divide people than to bring them together, and that was like the whole point of like revolution, right? Is to bring people together under one like ideal, and that doesn't happen anyways. But
I think the only ideal you can bring people around is freedom. I think that's the only idea, and the problem is it's even getting bastardized. Because vagueness is the only thing you have. But like saying everybody has the right to exist is it's like freedom. Everybody has the right to exist how they want to.
Right.
To me, that's the most basic human right. Like the individual is the basic.
Well, and what ends up being the divider is that everyone has a different idea of what freedom is in their head.
Well, the part of they don't understand you want freedom. To, or how I want to be free is
right.
Well, to me, it's real simple. If your freedom, as long as it doesn't impede on somebody else, you're fine.
And that's the crazy thing. There are people who have this idea of freedom that imposing on other people's lives so they aren't doing things that offend me is freedom.
That's not freedom. No. To me, that's why I said the individual should be the most important thing. Everybody should.
If it involves coercion, it's not freedom.
Yeah.
That's the idea of government is coercion. That is the whole.
We all agree to be coerced out of a little bit of our money so that we have nice roads. Like there's certain things we're okay with being coerced out of, but I think when it starts to become like, oh, we're going to take your money, but you're not going to see any of it, and it's like
we acknowledge that somebody has to do it. Like we want our roads repaired, and if I fucking had to, I guess I would, fill in some concrete and some roads, but like I don't have to because we pay taxes. Thank God. Jesus,
that's the only thing that's scary is there's a whole system set up. There was a whole system set up before we were even born. That we're born into this weird system that we didn't even agree to.
Right.
But like we try to work with it, and I think what bothers me is that every year that system tries to take more of you.
Well, yeah.
I want more.
And give less.
And at some point, I think that's why these, throughout history, politically, nothing has ever survived as it is. It always ends up revolution, turmoil. Because eventually what happens is governments or corporations or like any type, like feudal system, anything, it all rises up.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what's supposed to be so great about America is that we're the only true democracy and republic that hasn't fallen into a dictatorship, which is supposed to be the cycle. Like democracy always turns into a dictatorship. I mean, no one's forcing me to wear a mask outside or in my car.
There's some weird shit. There's some weird stuff going on. There's been some hiccups. I mean, you're always gonna have hiccups, but I think falling into a dictatorship comes down to like, did the government fall? Like, I mean, a dictatorship you can reinstall, but it's
well, really when you say did it though, it's like, well, this is the thing is that it just depends on who you believe is in control of things. Because for some of us, 1913, we became a dictatorship a long time ago. We said the banks would control everything because they control our money system and how much they get to print and everything else. So sure. I mean, we've had dictators for a long time, but they let us cycle out a figurehead every 4 years, so we're happy.
As long as we have a figurehead.
So as long as we have a figurehead that looks kind of like us, we're all right.
Obviously the 40s during World War II and everything with Roosevelt and throwing people in internment camps was not a great. That felt very dictatorship.
It sure did, but that was supposed to be to fight real dictatorships, right? Right. That's supposed to.
Yeah. A lot of people thought we had a dictatorship with the guy that just left office. You know what I mean? But he did leave.
Gosh.
He did leave.
But you know what? That guy didn't. Other than my Twitter feed, he didn't oppress me. You know what I mean?
He didn't me either.
No,
he was just annoying.
Right, yes, exactly. He was annoying and disrespectful.
He didn't do anything. Name one thing he did.
I don't think he cared about any of us. To be
honest, he never did. And the people that believed that he did are the idiots. That are in politics, which is why I left. Yeah. He doesn't care about you. He hasn't.
Nobody does. None of these guys.
No, none of them do. No,
I care about
maybe at first.
Not some of you.
Maybe
I care about some.
Maybe.
You're such a liar.
It depends on who you're talking about.
He don't care about any of them. All the internet cares about is pop culture anyway. That's all all the internet wants to do is talk about everything that everybody else is doing, especially celebrity culture and that. And that does bring me to the Chris Pratt thing because I've told you guys about that.
Yeah.
So Chris Pratt posted an Instagram post about his wife saying, "I'm so happy that I have a healthy child with my wife.
Congratulations."
And he has a baby. He has a baby girl. And then the internet decides to pounce on it and say, "Hey man, are you throwing shade at your own kid because he had a child with his previous wife, Anna Faris, named Jack, who was premature, had to have a lot of different surgeries and things, and it ends up coming to where people are like, oh, he's throwing shade at his own kid, and I'm like, do you not have kids? It's it has to be people that don't have kids that they have no concept you're not going to throw shade at your own fucking kid on the internet. I'm sorry.
Nah, it's those kids that were in a family where they got forgotten. I don't know. I was an only child, so I don't know how this works. Yeah. But if the middle kid or something like
That's
that,
me.
Is it
Yeah.
what is it? The Marcius and what about me?
Yeah.
See, he says something about the other one. Didn't say something about and. What about me?
No, he didn't just say something about the other one. I mean, first off, the other one just was born. So that's what he was talking about. I'm sure he did something for Jack as well. I remember seeing interviews with him years ago. I mean, he was on Ellen doing bicycles with his son, doing a little rap. Put his son on Ellen, he loves his son. You guys are so dumb. And he puts him on the internet and he loves his kids. But because he's no longer with Anna Faris, they take it as, oh, he's no longer with his kid. You're an idiot. Well, just because you're not with your ex doesn't mean you don't love your kid with your ex. People are so dumb.
Right. Well, and not only that, but the whole thing is that they're literally adding shit in that he didn't say.
Yeah.
It's saying I love that my baby's healthy is not saying that that my other children aren't healthy. That I hate other unhealthy babies.
Yeah. Bro, it's the most internet thing ever. When you're I'm so happy. Today has been such a great day. I'm so happy to be healthy. And it's somebody commenting oh, well, I have cancer. Do you hate me? Is that why you said? It's right,
exactly. It's recreational outrage.
Oh yeah,
and the people who are attacking Chris Pratt are the people with the real problem.
Yeah, it's clearly.
They need
they don't
psychiatric help.
Yeah, they don't like him. They don't like him because he's
need
kind of
a job.
Really
Y'all need a fucking job.
And this is the thing, kind of right wing. That's speculation.
Yeah.
It's really
here's
speculation.
The thing. This is why they say he's kind of right wing. Super Christian.
Yeah.
Super religious. Loves worship music. Talks about it. Hunter. Owns a lot of land. Has his own cows. Goes hunting. He literally raises animals to slaughter, and then he's actually a fucking. He's a celebrity that lives like a person who actually has to go get their own food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not there. He could buy whatever he wants. Sure. The dude's rich.
Yeah.
But he buys a ranch and he raises his own. And they're mad about. They got mad when he posted about I think he had a pig or a lamb, and he's we loved this lamb for many years. She got older. It was time. We slaughtered her. We had food for the family. We're so happy. Right. He did a whole thing, and then people got mad at him for that. Yeah. So I feel what they did.
Just keep your shit private.
And the thing is,
I don't know.
If he wants to share his lifestyle, I mean, he should be free to do that. To me, it's the recreational outrage. These people are going out and looking for things to piss themselves off.
Oh yeah.
Because Not only
their
that,
lives suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Basically,
their life
y'all ain't got nothing else better
they feel
to do.
unfulfilled, right? Like it's all
Just
it's
feel
deep-seated
vicariously
issues,
through people that are actually doing shit.
right?
Or they just want somebody to be mad at. People they're always. I mean, the Aaron Rodgers thing is the same thing. They want to be. He didn't get vaccinated. He said he was immunized, but he didn't get vaccinated because he's allergic to something in the vaccines. And then he gets COVID, and then everybody just piles on him. And it really just comes down to the fact that, like, people just want somebody. They want a figurehead. Like, this goes back to the figurehead thing. They want somebody who is the embodiment of what they dislike.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I don't like anti-vaxxers. He's an anti-vaxxer.
Right. Well, like the thing is, what brings there's the whole basically government sort of philosophy that what brings us together is having opposition. The boogeyman. First it was the war on terror. Before that it was the war on drugs.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah. Now it's now it has to be.
COVID,
anti-vaxxers, right?
Or
like,
the opposite. They have both camps have their own boogeyman.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right.
Let's go, Brandon.
It's about being able to, yeah, exactly.
Oh shit!
But yeah, it's just.
That's like a dog whistle. No, I think one of my favorite things that you just said a minute ago when you were explaining it was you said people get upset about other people's lifestyles, and it's like if you say, "Oh, I'm mad at a person who's like," if you like a right wing lifestyle is just or like whatever you consider a right wing lifestyle is just as valid as a left wing lifestyle. But we want to. The thing is, the corporations and the different media groups all champion this, and then when they champion one thing, you have to start to like look at it. It's like it feels like a house of cards, and you have to look at it and say, okay, what are they? This feels like a show. They're putting this on for me. They're trying to confuse.
It's
me.
all for entertainment.
Oh, yeah, all of it.
The biggest thing is just perspective, because I could just as easily argue that Chris Pratt lives a very liberal lifestyle.
Yeah.
He just goes about being liberal differently than you do.
Yeah,
Whereas if you do eat meat, you're buying yours from a store, which then helps.
His is at least ethically sourced.
His is ethically sourced.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're just buying into the machine. I mean,
You're buying.
You're a
you're
corporate
buying
shill.
Yeah, you
exactly.
basically are.
Right,
You're
right.
You're absolutely right.
That's why you're sad and mad at Chris Pratt.
Yeah, you could argue he's just as liberal or whatever, depending on the beliefs. What's the reason why he's doing what he's doing?
Yeah.
Maybe he was just raised that way, and not only that, but anyone who hunts and then eats their food knows that you appreciate your food more when you know where the hell it came from, and then when you had
appreciate
to work
life
for
more,
it.
and you appreciate death and the reality of what everything is.
I mean, just like soldiers who have seen death realize how precious it is. Like it can be snuffed away like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 20 pounds in the wrong direction, you can break someone's neck and kill them.
Oh
you know?
Happy Veterans Day this week, by the way. Yeah. I got my Navy shirt on. I mean, we got an Army guy there. Did you serve?
I didn't.
You didn't, man?
No. You know what? Like when I was, you have to remember when it was time to like sign up.
Yeah.
Where everyone was signing up, they were like, "You're gonna have to have a lot of PT."
Yeah, you have to work out.
I was 310 pounds.
Like, listen, I'm still working on dark coffee. Like, black coffee is what I'm working on. Let me focus on that. No, it's cool. Like, you were Army guy.
Yeah.
Navy guy. We
me and Jerry both wanted to join the Marines, and instead of joining the Marines, I
when he
helped
does
him
that, he's gonna
pretend he joined the Marines.
How is he?
Oh,
He's still doing. I know he had some rough patches there. I didn't know.
Yeah,
we all have them in our family. I have a brother the same, like very.
It's just more of like to speak on their business. I know things are still hard for them.
Yeah, they're figuring it out. It's nothing like that. I just know I grew up, like I said, I did grow up with Jerry, man. I played sports with him all the time, football all the time at Meridian Park and basketball and stuff. I've known him for years, and then unfortunately I see him in the paper a lot, and I'm like, man, I like Jerry. I like Jerry growing up, and it's like one of those things where it's like, man, you always think about him, and you're like,
Yeah, Jerry. Growing up, Jerry was the only brother I had. I was an only child.
Yeah.
But my cousins lived right next door, so like I hung out with Jerry and Ruby, which was his older sister, every single day.
Alex Steele and his brother, they were over there too.
Yep, and Danny Steele. Yeah, well, that was when they were on Vale Street. When growing up, we were right over on Walnut.
Okay.
They lived in like a house literally right next to us that my grandpa was.
Well, I met him, like I said, in Vale, or not Vale. Was he? He was on Bell.
He was on Bell. Yeah.
I grew up over there, and I was on Vale Street actually.
Yeah.
So I grew up over there, and then we just always played sports and did shit together, man.
Yeah.
And then the underground. baby, gotta go over there.
Yeah, I remember. I went to the underground a couple times.
Go over there. There's a Main Street United Methodist Church would do like a Friday night. I don't know if did you ever go to that?
No.
You're like, no.
But this is where my history comes around full circle into a joke, though. I went to the underground. Too many white chicks. Too many white chicks.
Yeah. For me, I was
this wasn't my
fine.
thing.
Was like,
it
was just chicks to me.
It was all just chicks, and I was just like,
The craziest part about this was a youth group, right? For
it was.
It was just all about everybody hooking up.
Teenagers.
That's what all youth groups are.
It's like who we're gonna make out with.
It's basically like okay, you're Christian, I'm Christian. Okay, let's both agree to.
God loves us.
Let's do this.
Let's study.
The underground though was almost it wasn't, but like what do you call it? Like they have some fucking word for it. Secular. That's the one.
Yeah.
I want to say sectional, and I'm like, it's not a couch.
Because you didn't have to attend church there to go and hang out at the underground.
Yeah, you paid like $5 or $3 or something, and you got in on a Friday night, and it was like 8:30 to 11 o'clock at night, and it was like a guilt-free place. You could send your kids. They could hang out with other kids. There was like basketball upstairs. People played pool. They had a whole hangout downstairs. My band would play there a lot.
Yeah, I remember that too.
I used to just do covers of like Christian songs because they wanted us to.
Yeah, because that's what.
We did like covers of like Maroon 5 and shit because that's.
I remember that too.
Always worked, baby. Get all the ladies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was super jealous of that. I think you were in part of the reason why I learned to play guitar.
There you go. I love that. I was
I'm serious. I remember at the underground him playing Maroon 5, and I'm very observant, and I was kind of like quiet unless someone talked to me.
Yeah.
And like the girls would be like, "Fuck it,"
It worked.
I feel like I could hear them getting wet, and it was like, okay, I need to get a guitar. I need to get a guitar. Trickle.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. I love that church until they go. They several youth group leaders, and I went there.
Yeah.
A girl named Caitlin Rudolph got me going there,
and
then she completely fell out of church, which was hilarious.
Yeah, well, that was really interesting to watch, wasn't it?
It was so weird because she took me to so many different churches when I knew her. Like I went to multiple churches with her.
She was like Foursquare too, right?
Yeah.
Caitlin was responsible for me to go into Foursquare.
Yeah.
She was also responsible for me to go into the underground. And then not long after that, she switched to short shorts and goth shit, and it was just gone. It was like, what the hell?
Bright eyes. She found bright eyes. That's what it was.
Okay.
And then now she's like a super like liberal feminist. Like literally like everything is theory, feminist theory. Like it's like.
And is she with Corey McKay?
They are getting a divorce, but yeah.
Okay.
They were together.
I
for
remember
a while,
that,
which was crazy because as long as I've known Corey, he's been like a libertarian and like so they like put politics aside.
When I worked, when I worked in politics, I worked in politics for 6 years, and I worked for Ron Paul.
Yeah.
I tried to.
I love. I also love Ron Paul.
He was the only one. He was the only person to me that was worthy going up to bat for. That's why for 6 years I was fucking hitting the pavement, giving 50-minute speeches on how to get grassroots activism things going in your hometown and stuff.
It almost worked, man. We got close.
Fucking real close. What was really like amazing about it was learning how to get Republican delegates for Ron Paul.
Yeah.
And that whole struggle, because it really showed the corruption inside the Republican Party, because they didn't care how many delegates that we had, they would find ways to close out our votes. Like I remember going to them and they had literally struck like 57 votes because of like technical errors on paperwork. But yeah, I mean,
when you run the system, you get to decide how things go.
Yeah,
it's just what it is.
You can bend it in your favor.
I mean, we saw that happened against Bernie as well. I mean, very similar. That's why I was like, when people were like, Bernie endorsed Hillary Clinton, and I'm like, because he didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
At that the point, you don't. Like, you either save face or you look like an idiot.
Yeah. Right.
And that's what he believed that he could get through his party, and the people in charge of his party said, no, you can't.
I mean, he got cheated.
Yeah, and then
he cheated.
But the worst part is when you get cucked and then you're like, oh, I enjoyed it even though you didn't. And that's the problem with that. I think that's how I lost any time. Because like, even if you don't agree with Bernie Sanders' politics, you can appreciate a guy who's being genuine anytime. When you meet somebody genuine, you can appreciate, you're being who you are. And that's what I liked about him for a long time. But then watching him cuck himself for the Democratic Party was really rough for me. And then people are like, Bernie 2024. And they're just like, I'm like, no, Bernie's like 1,000,000 years old.
It's like, it's like you don't keep pushing it. Yeah, no, exactly.
We did it for Ron Paul for a long time, though.
I know,
it was all the way through. It was like for many years.
Yes.
Like 2008, 2012.
Yep,
it was a
exactly.
good 8 years.
Yep, exactly.
It was, it might even, he had a run before, even in like the
he did
90s.
In the 90s.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
He and like listen, it's really easy to follow for his spell as well because he's so genuine as well. He feels like a genuine guy. It's the same thing as Bernie. When I saw people, they're like, I was a Ron Paul guy, and now I'm a Bernie Sanders guy. It's like, you don't really understand politics, but you're falling for the guy who's real, and that's all that you need. That's all you need.
Yeah.
So when people would make fun of a person who's like, oh, I was a Ron Paul person, but now I'm Bernie Sanders, I could see that what they were saying was, I like a genuine person.
Right.
And they don't really care about politics.
I couldn't go from Ron Paul
Jimmy
to
Carter's,
anybody.
but-
For me, it's like that dude's an angel. Like
I know.
he's a fucking angel.
Sweet guy.
He wouldn't hurt a fly. He'd debate with it on like whether or not it should be present. And yes, you have rights, but
Can you move?
but could you please move? Because I'm asking you politely, and that's kind of how we live here.
I felt for his spell real quick. Ron Paul, I loved everything he did, and then you can go back and look at some of the stuff. Even now, like he's predicted so many things. And it's like Grandpa, man. To me, he's like my grandpa. Like to me, I think of him like my actual grandpa. They're both very similar in personalities and everything. And I'm just like he's just a good guy. He actually is a genuine guy. Rand Paul is a great. He's not as great as his dad. He never will be. But like I like Rand Paul as well. He's got a great head on his shoulders. He's a little bit more institutionalized than his dad.
Yeah, I liked him when he first joined the scene.
Yeah.
And then after his dad left, you know what I mean? It was kind of like, he's doing his own thing now.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Those family dynasty things are weird anyway. Whether it's, Bush or
that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Or,
Bush.
Clinton. I mean, family dynasties are weird.
Yeah.
Malia Obama, 2036.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, Malia Obama. I mean, I know they were pushing for Michelle for a minute. They're like, we need to get Michelle in there. I was like, what? But like, I don't know. She has no. Other than being the first lady, she has no political.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's like it's like. I get like an Obama. I get it. I get it. I mean, I was for Ron Paul, okay, but looking back, I'm like, yeah, man, he was a good fucking president. Though.
Yeah.
Like Obama, he was respectable.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
was a
when
good
you go from fucking
figurehead.
Obama, when you go from Obama to Trump, you're like, this guy was fucking respectable.
Yeah.
We can at least agree on that, right? He was fucking respectable.
Absolutely.
But
nobody stopped
the
partying.
wokies
For 8 fucking years.
No, we didn't, man.
The wokies got crazy. That's I think the worst thing from the legacy of his presidency is the wokeism got insane because
for Trump,
when he won, not even for Trump, I'm talking about for Obama when he won the Nobel Peace Prize for nothing.
Okay,
It's my point.
Like,
nobody stopped celebrating.
For sending 17.
That's the truth. It was a celebration. Of
Yeah.
and without their eyes open, it was a blind celebration.
Yeah,
They're
we
like, I don't
did
care.
this
We won.
thing.
We won.
Yeah.
And then we won again. Doesn't
Well,
matter. Fuck you. It's like la 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 la. Like when you're a kid.
When all the other people that the opposition side, they were like, "Oh, okay, well they did this thing. Let's fuck all this up for them." But nobody's paying attention, and then you wonder why nothing got done in 8 years.
So I'd argue that like wokeism has reached its like critical stage where it's like at its worst nowish.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah. It's
in
really
the sense
bad.
that because like when you take a look at cancel culture, the people who are calling out and canceling these people are shit people, but no one's saying like, dude, you're shit.
Dave Chappelle thing.
Well, I mean, that's just like a small
The
example.
tweets, though. Did you see the tweets from the lady that ran? She's a trans woman who led the walkout for Netflix, and then her tweets came up, and she had said some highly racialized things, not just about like white
she's
people,
not
black
awful
people,
because she's trans,
about Asians, and it's like, well, we're not. Yeah, she didn't do anything wrong here. And then the big thing with her was she said. But I was on drugs then, and I'm like, okay, so when you're on drugs, you're allowed to be a racist.
Right,
and this is the thing, like claiming you're a victim doesn't. There should not be social cred in being a victim because, for the simple fact that life happens, everyone's gonna have that at some fucking point.
Yeah,
like
life is
shit
victimization.
happens to you.
You're victimized from birth.
Right. Like
we're all victims, even perpetrators are victims. And we noticed that like with like even like child molesters, we know like we don't excuse it.
No,
but most child molesters have been molested.
Yeah,
we all know this.
Right.
But it doesn't excuse them molesting people.
No, you're
but
still
the
sick.
the victims become the victimizers.
Right. And at what point do you pull yourself down off the cross, use the wood to build a bridge, and get the fuck over it? Like you can't. That's not.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine having that tacked onto my social media profile, victim, along with father, skater, writer, director, actor, all this other bullshit because...
But victim first.
Victim first, because that's what people are holding on to, like, you know...
That's their identity. It's like if I can prove I'm the victim, then I have the most social currency here. And
right.
That's sad.
And that's really sad.
Victimology, it's rough. And I mean, we all understand because we want... It all comes from a really great place. I think wokeism comes from a great place of wanting everybody to be treated fairly. I think that the base part of wokeism comes from... We just want people to be taken care of. We don't want anybody to be victimized. We don't want... But then when you start to tear at... The pull at the threads,
right.
Like you said, you start to see that everybody's technically a victim, and everybody's a victimizer. It all depends on perspective. I mean, I was worried when you were like, I actually remembered you from this time. I was like, great, was I an asshole to somebody? Because I was at one point a child as well. I've been an asshole to people.
I mean, like, you know, the thing, like...
I was like, I remember you. You were an asshole. No, I'm just kidding. Probably was.
I mean, probably, but so was I.
Yeah.
You know, like, it was like, we were all fucking...
Yeah.
Oh, I was awful.
Yeah. When we were younger.
Yeah, I mean, like...
You're never more selfish than when you're in your teens.
No, you're not. You really aren't.
You
really aren't.
People that are still selfish after their teens are people nobody likes. Because like we can understand being selfish when you're a kid because you don't know any better. But once you become an adult and you're like super selfish,
because
like
empathy's a skill. Yeah. You learn empathy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, as a man, a lot of men are. I swear to God, are born with that empathy that I'll never understand. And men, I don't think empathy for most men comes supernaturally. No. I think we have to work at understanding. Yeah. I mean, it's like the simple, like the old adage of like you're in a room with a woman and then she's like, "I'm really cold," and you're like, "Oh, okay, baby, yeah, it's cold in here." She's like, "Yeah, I'm freezing." You're like, "Yeah, baby, like I get it. It's cold out here, man." And then she's really what she's saying is, "Will you hand me that blanket?"
Will you hand me that blanket? Right, exactly.
But all she has to do is say, "Hand me the blanket," and we're guys, so we're like, "I'll get you that fucking blanket right now." Like, there's a comedian that does I'll fucking provide for you all day, dude. I love providing. That's me. And it's like the difference between men and women. It's like women have this empathy where if a woman goes, "I'm cold," they're like, "Oh, let me grab you the blanket." They see that as they see the three steps. We don't see the three. No. All we hear is, "Yeah, it's cold in here." And we just keep watching the movie.
I
agree. That's like growing up. I grew up in a house full of women. So like for me, when I've always heard of that as just being trained. You're a well-trained man.
Well-trained.
It's like, I'm thirsty. I go get up some water. That fan's blowing too hard. I turn off the fan.
Yeah.
I can't hear the TV. I turn up the TV.
Yeah. But then at some point, as a man, you start to feel like, am I just a fetcha boy? Am I a fetcha? But you have to fight that battle when you get there.
Time, I do it for myself.
Yeah. So it makes sense. You're like, hey, listen, if I can like mitigate whatever problem, I'll just do that. I'll grab the water.
And there's probably like some abandonment issues too. I'm just like, if I can keep them comfortable, they won't leave. This is
the abandonment
they won't
issue
leave.
Podcast here because he and I both have had a lot of.
I don't have parents.
No.
I don't have a dad. So
no,
it's like,
me neither.
We've all. Anyways, honestly, that's one of the great things about our generation. I mean, you're a dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're all three dads here.
Yeah.
We're all active in our kids' lives.
And I bet we didn't have very active fathers, did we?
Exactly. We learned from the mistakes.
Thank goodness. Yeah. I was like, I'm never gonna
Exactly.
Instead of in third grade, I was making up shit about what my dad did. I lied and told people he was like a fucking actor in Hollywood and or a producer in Hollywood and he was gonna fly me out and blah blah blah. Yeah. Like that was third grade me. It's like my children will never have to lie. Like, Dad's at home. He writes books. He makes awful movies. You're gonna love him.
He's on YouTube. That's what I love about my kid is he's getting into everything. He's getting into doing every little like creative thing, and he's so creative. He has such a great mind for that. And watching him get into music, because I'm a singer. I've always been a singer. I learned the guitar to play guitar to write songs. That's really why I did it. And at first it was to get women, but now I just love music, so that's just what I am. But at first it's always for women. But with my son, watching him, and he's a huge hip hop fan. And yesterday I came home and Shelby goes, "Go in his room and ask him to hear his song." And I'm like, "What? What's going on?" So I go in there, and him and his cousin decided that they wrote a rap song together with a beat and everything. It sounded good, and I'm like, and they were still working on it, but I'm like, I'm not, it's not a surprise thing, because I mean, I know I've heard him freestyle and stuff, he's not bad, but, and he wrote this out, he actually wrote it, so it's even better, but I'm like, listening to it, and I'm like, man, like, they grow up so fast, and the creativity, like you can see yourself in them. Like I remember doing this shit when I was a kid.
Aren't you so happy you have a SoundCloud rapper?
I know, I have a SoundCloud rapper. Yeah. I have a Whack Miller. I'm just kidding. I can't wait to get his. Wait till I find out what his rap name is. But yeah, I listened to him last night. And I was really. I've heard him like freestyle in the other room, and one night I heard his feelings. He thought I was making fun of him. Like we were making fun of him, but we weren't making fun of what he was doing. We were just goofing.
Right.
Yeah.
But we get a giggle juice, and then we were just like goofing. And then he got upset, and he was like, "You're making fun of me." And I was like, "Bro, we were literally quietly talking about how good it was." We're actually surprised at how good he's doing.
Right.
And he didn't hear that part. He only
Yeah,
heard
right, of course. Yeah.
Like making noise, like oh yeah, because he's right there. So we would make noises back at him, and he's seen us making fun of him, and it was just hilarious because what we were really doing was talking about how
good it
pleasantly
was.
surprised we were with how good it actually is.
Right.
But watching your kids fall into the same pleasure traps that you love is really interesting, man. Like it's wild. I mean, and all three of us grown up without active fathers, like active parents, I guess is a better way to say it. But I mean, the three of us doing it, and then watching how active and how much we care about our fucking kids. It's a whole different world, man. We're not going to have that problem.
No. Like, and like seeing your kids. So I've got 5 kids at home.
Yeah.
One down in Texas. And so out of the 5 at home, Nolan is my oldest boy, and he's the most like me. He's like he's quiet and observant, and being that I was an only child, like I spent a lot of time playing in the hallway with like just my action figures by myself.
Yeah.
And he manages to find time to get away from everybody, and I catch him doing just that. Like the exact same shit I was doing when I was a little kid. Creating whole storylines about what's going on, setting the scene. And usually it like mimics a little bit from what he's seen in movies, whatever he's just most recently watched.
Your creativity is just recycling something you've seen, but making it your own.
Yeah, making it your own.
At least when you're young, and then you start to try to create your own thing.
Yeah.
But it always comes from, like you even explained, like
there's always some inspiration.
It's a little bit inspired by a little bit by The Office, but it's also inspired by the serial entrepreneurship. So where you take a couple different ideas together, and then you create something that's your own.
Yeah, well, and also like in like 7th grade, I think it was 7th grade. 7th grade was Central, so yes, 7th grade. Mrs. O'Brien's class, Andrew Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay, remember Andrew Taylor?
Yeah, one of my best friends growing up. Yeah.
Okay, he had we had to create it was a project. We had to create like a civilization with a government and a structure and everything else. Do you know what I'm about to say?
Yeah.
His was called The Island.
The Island.
The Island. And it was ran by the government.
Yeah.
And everything was this.
And
so that's where I pulled the company from. I was like, you know what, man, it's like we live on the island. In my mind, I didn't never tell anybody this.
And it hits you in your head, like it's a
callback.
It had staying power in you.
Yeah, it's a callback. Like what's funny is there are people that I looked up to, like their comedic value, and it like when I was in middle school, man, like Cody Powell and Andrew Taylor, like they were just brilliant, naturally funny.
Andrew, what drove me crazy, I've talked about Andrew on this podcast like vaguely, but what drove me crazy about Andrew growing up was like I would work so hard at something, and then he'd walk in and do it immediately.
Do it so easy.
And you'd look at him like, how the fuck do you just... Because I had to practice it. I'm creative, but I've got a lot of that left brain and right brain. I got a lot of both. But I'm really more left brain, which is like the analytical guy. So like I think it's left brain. I'm really bad at that. I knowing which side does, which I should be better at. But like I know that I'm the guy that's more like I want to organize and help get things together, which is helpful with a lot of creatives because I have that creative side too. But I'm very collaborative because of that. Because I want to let's take that and let's do it. Let's make a whole thing out of it. And Andrew is one of those people that he will just literally walk in a room and he is the center of attention. He is a very successful person nowadays. Randomly, which I don't say randomly like that. He went to college, but he dropped out of college, and now he runs like these. He's a maintenance supervisor for multiple. He's a very successful man, and he grew up with his dad. His stepdad was Randy Grigsby, who remodeled a lot of stuff. Grigsby Remodeling's big around here, but he hated doing it, and now that's his job. Like that's his whole life, and he just needed to do it on his own. Yeah. But like Andrew was actually in the band that he was the drummer in the band that I played at Underground, and he just naturally like funny, talented. Like he would just sit down at a piano and find a way to make music, but he didn't even know how to play fucking piano, and he'd be like. Right. Or like you'd hand him the dude a violin, he'd go, and you're like, I can't, get the fuck out of
Right.
here.
Well, and it wasn't perfect, but it was good enough that it was like, you play the violin.
How the
Like,
hell
you would have
did you do
mistook that
this?
he played the violin regularly.
Like, you would think that he's got experience, and he didn't. It was the guitar too. Like, I would learn how to play songs on guitar, and I would say, "Hey, Andrew," and give him the guitar and say, "This is how you play it," and he would learn, and he'd play it better than I did immediately. But he never learned it. I had to teach him to play the songs I couldn't play. Yeah. And then when we'd go in public, and he'd always be like, whenever on the weekend, he'd be like. He'd hang out at the house, and he's like, let's go meet with these girls. I'm like, okay. He's like, bring the guitar. He'd put it in the fucking back of the trunk, and then he'd pull the guitar out, and he'd make me sing, and he'd play guitar, and it worked for both of us, man. It was like, this is how we get girls to like us.
Yeah.
But we had, I mean, it's funny that you brought him up, because he's very, very influential on a lot of, like, where my comedy comes from, even just because naturally he was so funny.
Yeah.
And I was also funny, but around him, I was, like, more of the straight guy.
Right.
And then when I'm with Brian, he always ends up being the straight guy, I end up being the funny guy. And so it's interesting when you get around certain dynamics.
Yeah.
How it changes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
He's to this day, he's some of the stuff that I did with him growing up, like some of the things that he did, like comedy wise, they stick with me just because he's so fucking.
That was
funny.
a fucking school project for Miss O'Brien's social studies class. The island with the government and all the does. And it was just like fucking hilarious. Man.
It was a theme. It was a whole theme, and he came up with it like that.
Yeah.
He's just that kind of guy.
Yeah.
I hate those. And Matty Kroll, very similar. How
Matty
the fact
Kroll,
that he can do anything.
Yeah. Well,
He just picks up an like on our album, he plays guitar. He recorded it. He plays drums because he actually plays drums in the band. He also plays guitar tracks. He helps write the guitar tracks, but he also helps me write a little bit of like the melody, not like the harmonies for the stuff. But the crazy thing is he plays piano on the track, and the dude doesn't play piano. Like he knows music enough that he can figure it out. Right. And when you meet somebody like that who can literally do anything, it's amazing meeting those people. But it's also like, how the fuck did you do this?
See, I can do anything. It just takes me preparation and time, like practice. You know what I mean? Like,
but when you meet somebody that does it immediately, you're like, this isn't fair.
No.
They've got a hack that I don't have.
Yeah.
They've hacked everything.
Yeah. They got life steroids.
Yeah.
You know, steroids are illegal.
Yeah.
They should
technically. Oh shit, we had an hour and a half. All right, guys. Well, we didn't get to talk about Astroworld, which is a little bit sad.
I mean, sad.
Sad because people passed away.
8 people died. Like 300 people got injured.
Yeah.
Because obviously somebody's a dumbass. Not Travis Scott.
Stay out of the VIP. If you're, we all want to be in VIP, but you can't always get in there.
Right. What did Chris Brown say? How you gonna talk shit on the outside of the club? You can't even get in?
And they said, yes, we
Stay
can.
outside.
They said, yes, we can get in. We can get in.
They're like, fuck that.
I said, oh, we can't get in? All right, let's go ahead and trample people and kill them. Yeah. I can't believe it. It was so, reading that headline and reading about it was so jarring to me because I'm like, I can't believe 8 people died by being trampled to death, basically. And then I read a nurse's caption and her talking about, like, she was a nurse there, and she got up and she went to help, and there were people trying to give CPR that didn't know what they were doing because she said so one person didn't get in the ambulance, they were dead for 12 minutes, like basically they had no pulse for 12 minutes. And people didn't know how to check pulses, so she's trying to check pulses on people that are getting CPR that by people that don't know what they're doing. Right. And it's just like people are trying to help. You know, you like to see people trying to help, but it just sucks that they didn't have the resources there for something like this. I mean, you don't plan for that shit to happen, but I mean, you need. They only had like 2 ambulance workers or something like that. It got real rough. You
don't really plan on people just like gang fucking mobbing the entrance of VIP section or something like that. Yeah. I get Travis Scott. He's literal superstar.
Yeah, I think he's fantastic, but I don't know if he's good enough to kill people for. You know.
Yeah. Now you're a murderer, not him, but you know.
Like leave these celebrities alone, man. Just because bad shit happens around them doesn't mean that. Like, it's so weird how culturally people are obsessed with celebrity, and it's like to the point where they're
no. It's been the theme of the day. You know what people need?
What?
Get back to fucking work.
Yeah. Go to fucking work. Get a job.
Or at the most, just find a hobby, man.
Jeez,
we have enough between the 3 of us.
Recreational outrage.
Between the 3 of us, we have so many fucking hobbies.
You can borrow mine.
Yeah, exactly.
I could use an assistant. I'm just saying.
Like, I need somebody behind the camera, man. Sometimes we need people behind the camera. This guy's good.
If by all means you can't do any of that, just stay in a corner and jack off or something. That's still more productive than killing people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't Louis C.K. anybody.
Yeah.
Everyone's like infuriated with like Travis Scott over this, like but this is the real question. Where was Mark Wahlberg during all of this? That's what I want to know.
He's supposed to start saving people.
He's supposed to start saving people is exactly my point.
If I was there, I would have went through there and I would have saved everybody. I would have saved everyone. If I was in 9/11, everybody would have got out of the towers. That's fucking Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you're referencing?
Yes,
Didn't
that's
say
exactly
that?
what I'm referencing.
If I was there, I would have punched him right in the fucking face.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'd have taken care of it.
Yeah, that's what I was referencing.
It's Marky Mark. I can do anything. I'll bring the funky bunch.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming.
So where the fuck was he during the Travis Scott concert?
Where the fuck were I? I don't know. I was at home.
I just stopped all those people.
I was up at 4 a.m. I was walking out. That's what I do.
We now have like a Wahlberg light or Wahlburgers light.
Yeah, we need a
signal.
They opened a Wahlburger in off. Yeah, I need to go check it out. Have you been there yet?
No.
My buddy wants to go. Okay, we're gonna go get Wahlburgers, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in to the podcast. Very, very special guest, Kelly McKinney. Check him out. He's got Hohenheim Productions. He's got a new company that's on the Fourth Wall Players. Check that out. He's on YouTube, Facebook, probably Twitter, everywhere. Check this shit out. We'll put some links up at the end. We'll let everybody know what's going on. But yeah, check his shit out. It was nice having you, homie. I appreciate you.
Yep.
I'm Jordan Granger.
I'm Jordan Bell, and
I'm Kelly McKinney.
This has been the Kokomo Press Podcast. Love you. 2 kisses.
hey, what up? You just listened to the podcast. Thanks for putting up with us for the last, hour or so. Really appreciate that. You can find us on all major podcast platforms. You can find this guy on a lot of different shit. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, some Instagram shit, whatever. Also, buy our merch. Can I grab you consensually? Buy our merch.